Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Avini Vibes. We're so glad that you're here, and we're always happy to see your faces and that you took the time to be with us tonight. Today's January 23rd, 2025. I have a hard time saying 25. I'm still stuck on 24. I wrote a check or something the other day, and I still wrote 24, so I had to white it out and start over. But it is exciting because we are growing as a family here at Avini, and we're growing as a company, and it's really a blessing. My name is Christine Rolando. I'm from Warwick, New York, and I have my new clock. My father-in-law gave us this clock. I don't know if you can hear it, and we've had it, a grandfather clock, and we had it turned off. But last night he said, "Why don't we wind that thing up?" So it's going off right behind me. If you just heard it, so we are so happy you're here. Remember, we do not make any medical claims. We don't diagnose any disease as well. We're here to learn, to share from one another, and hear from you. We love to hear your testimonials. And each week we try to have a special guest. And tonight we're really blessed to have somebody very, very special in the house with us, all the way from Arkansas. And I don't know if she knows this about her, but I see her pretty much every day because she's a master at putting together the how-to videos. So I use her videos all the time to share with people how to do this, how to do that. And so, Paige, I want you to know that I'm very grateful for the time that you took to use your skills to share that with the company, with all of us to make our lives easier. So grateful that you're here. And this is Paige Wolfe, all the way from Arkansas. And Paige, you're a diamond, and that means a lot because we know that you've worked very hard, but you have a gift of sharing and you have a gift of, well, I'm not going to say it. You're going to say it because we want to hear from you. So welcome, Paige. Join us.
Well, thank you, Christine. Thank you, everybody, for having me on tonight. That was a pleasure to be invited. Well, let's see. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Vermont and moved out west when I was 18 years old to Lake Tahoe and Wyoming and Montana. And I ended up in Florida before I moved here to Arkansas. It was getting a little crowded there for us. So we decided to check out Arkansas and fell in love with a little town in the middle of the state, just an hour south of the Missouri border, called Mountain Home. And I Googled it by typing in Arkansas, Ozarks, and farmers market because I knew I needed farmers to be near me. So we love it and we haven't looked back, and we're starting building. We have our foundation. So it really is becoming a real vision now. So my life story here with why I'm so interested in Avini is because, well, I was born sick. I got sick all the time. I was sick for the first year of my life, and my siblings, they didn't have a great immune system either. So I was always noticing that healthy food made me feel better than junk food. And I was very different than just, everybody around me in my school. They were eating Doritos and Pepsi, and I had to eat the healthy things because I noticed right away they didn't make me feel good. And because of being into it and learning about what would make myself healthy, I really dove down that health rabbit hole when I was about 19 years old and came up with something very common that a woman gets. And instead of going to the drugstore, I ran to the health food store because I wanted to know why. Why was this happening? So I figured it out, fixed it by myself, and then when I walked into my first big nutrition department in Southern California, it was like I heard angels singing, "Oh, it's like this is where you belong." And it's like I'm kind of a geek about it. It's what I learn about for fun. Somebody might watch a movie. It's like, oh, I want to watch one on toxins and parasites and and things like that. And because of that, there's been a few things in my life a handful of things that have actually made a noticeable improvement to my health. And the first thing was a green drink. When I worked at Whole Foods, I went for the green drink as opposed to the multivitamin minerals, and I found that it gave me prolonged energy and I felt sated. I could go for many more hours without being hungry. And then in 2014, I was introduced to a molecular company and I didn't get sick for 7 whole years from 2014. And because of that relationship, I was introduced to Avini. And I can, to be perfectly honest, when I was introduced to it, which was in June of 2021, what I said was, I'm pretty sure this is as good as it gets. I've been doing the best I can, and now I haven't been sick for 7 years. But since the guy that was giving it a thumbs up, Rik Zeolite, I knew him and respected him. I'm like, well, and it helped his wife. I said, I'll give it a try. So the person who sponsored me, Dave Johnson, he was smart. He told me, take 10 drops 4 times a day. And I heard, at least for the first month, but I decided to just intuitively to just keep doing that until I felt like my shifts, changes, and improvements had plateaued. And that was at the end of about 3 months. And the last thing I felt was that, noticed was that I lost 8 pounds doing nothing different. It was just those toxins coming out and then my body not needing those fat cells. So that's when I went to a maintenance amount. But honestly, I still probably do 10 drops 4 times a day. I don't really think about it. I just have them everywhere in the bathroom. I have a bottle in the kitchen. I have one in my purse. And whenever I think I need it, I will take some. So I still kind of stay on that initial detox amount. And, I certainly didn't know anything about network marketing and didn't think it was going to, never even thought about what it would evolve into. It's just when I met Rik Deitsch, he was at the end of the second company that didn't treat him very well. And I was like, I don't care where he goes. I just want it. So I followed him like so many other people. And then when that blew up and he went to a third company and that self-destructed, again, I didn't care how I could get it. I just wanted it and continued to share with people because if something helps me, I have to share it. I mean, it's just a topic of conversation, and people that know me know that that's what I'm into. So they're going to listen to what's working for me today. And, it was in hindsight is always 2020, right? It was such a blessing that third company blew up, and thank God for Rik's wife, Liz, that said, when he said, I don't want to do this anymore, she said, oh no, you're going to, and you're just going to figure out a way to own it and have somebody help you. So that was a true blessing because it's much better with him being in charge and making it in one spot and shipping it from one spot. So it all worked out for the best. We get what we want sometimes, or what we need, not what we want. And it worked out for the best. And I'm blessed to be here. I really just learn from everybody around me what to do. And every day I wake up, it's like, it's a brand new day. I'm going to be better at following up. I'm going to do this better, that better. Because every day we should be tweaking and improving anyways. So it's definitely the fortune is in the follow-up. Keeping people educated is the most important thing. And I find with a lot of people that I talk with that they admit, I'm not too good at follow-up. It's like, well, if you want to do well in this business, you're going to have to change that. Excuse me. So I recently did something that one of my distributors has already been doing, which I'm sure lots of you are doing, but she has a group with just her people that are wanting to make an income with it. And she put them in a group email. And I did that for some silly reason just recently instead of a long time ago. But it's kind of taken me that long to have my people who are getting in the habit of sharing it now. It is a process. Timing is everything, and everybody's timing is different than yours. So you have to meet them where they're at. So now I have just sent out a couple emails to my group of leaders and letting them know, this is what I've been doing. I've been helping your people because you haven't been following up, but it's kind of time to hand over the reins because I see you wanting to make money. So you're going to have to take some initiative and just sharing the tips that I do. And that's finding something in their back office, a person's back office that you can help them with. I feel like a servant. It's like, did you know that you have reward points? No, I didn't know that. Did you know that you're ordering every month, but you're not putting it on auto ship? oh, I didn't know that. Or I thought if you had something on auto ship, you couldn't change it. It's like, no, no, ours is different. It's so easy. And anything at all. And if I've gotten to that point where, gosh, they've taken the product, it's been a while, doesn't seem like they're interested in reordering, I'll talk to them about something else and I'll somehow weave in Avini into it because as we all know, Avini is the foundation. It makes everything else you choose to be healthy work better, have more value. So I will find a way to weave it in, and I'm just always looking for something that I can share with them that maybe they don't know about. Anything, anything. So
You've been
that's,
making those videos that are very, very helpful for us in the back off, well, in the shared spreadsheet that Rich Cotter manages, and those are so valuable. If you just joined us, our guest tonight is Paige Wolfe. She's a diamond with Avini. She's sharing her story. I see some new people just jumped in, but Paige, those videos, I want to say we're grateful for them because they're very valuable. And like you said, it's all about reaching down to the little things that people might not know that they have points in their back office. But I think last time you were on, you shared something with us. You said you reach down deep into levels below you, like you're sharing now. Can you say, was there a person maybe down on a lower level underneath you on your team that you were able to repercolate or reboot? I'll use the term reboot,
yeah,
help them.
yeah, it happens, it happens often. Um, and it's just everybody's story is different. I mean, I have somebody who shares all the time and she doesn't follow up because her boyfriend still doesn't know she's doing this business. So she can't talk on the phone at home. So I will follow up for her people. And um, I kind of it's like I need a little assembly line of things that I do so that I do the same with everybody. Of course, everybody's different, but the information they have to be dripped on, you know, on a regular basis. So yes, to answer your question, Christine, I have rebooted somebody or reinterested somebody who hadn't done anything in like a year. Yeah, that's happened. I've gotten the permission from all of my distributors, may I contact your people? And I've never had anybody say no. So I usually reach out with a text because on my phone, Verizon won't let me go by my middle name, Paige. And so it's like, and they might not know who I am anyway. So I'll text them first. And I I usually get a response and they'll either say just not interested or I'll say something where they're like, oh, I do want to know a little bit about that. I'll find something to pique their interest. I mean, it could be a recording from one of our morning rev calls. It could be anything. I get my inspiration just from everywhere, from everybody. And yeah, I've been surprised. Some people have come out of the woodwork and I'm helping a lot of my people's, but it's all good because it all comes back and helps me. And you mentioned the videos that I make, Christine. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to my boyfriend last night about it. I said, I want to kind of redo those videos and I want to make them, I have them on YouTube channel. That's what works for me. I might even put them on Rumble. I record them on Zoom and then I just upload them. And I want to redo it so that they're the shortest I can possibly make, 2, 3 minutes. And I want to figure out a way to organize them. I might have to pay for it to be able to do that because I looked into it once before and I could not figure it out. But I want to redo it. And I will also take off my web address because I've had people say, well, I'm afraid to send people there because your web address is there. And I always say, I've never gotten somebody that I didn't know. One person tried to sign up under me once that belonged to somebody else, and we got him matched up with their person. I would never take somebody that wasn't mine, and I would get to the bottom of how do I know you? But I certainly can take off my Avini website. I don't need it on there because people know how to, if you're sharing it with them, then they're going to get back with you. And so I don't want people to worry about that. So I'm going to redo them, shorter videos and add some like, how to place somebody, just simple things that I get asked all the time and add to it. But I am going to upgrade that because I like using them. I really do.
I love that video where it says, about how to sign up for the products, and then you take it into, and some people want to, order at a wholesale price, and that's such a short video. And I think in that video, you particularly say, get with the person who shared this with you. So
Mhm.
you're always doing that. I haven't seen your website on it. So thank you for, again, letting us use those tools.
Yeah, and I need to say that for every video, just
Yeah.
as a little
You know,
disclaimer.
yeah, those are great tools. So we look forward to support you any way we can too. Does anyone have any questions for Paige? And we just let you keep going because we want to hear a little bit about what you think about some of the products that are special to you.
Oh, they all are. I use almost everything every day. Yeah, I've got my little shopping list for next month. I don't want to be without the Cell Defender and the Silver because they are, in my mind, irreplaceable. And just like everything else, though, the one thing that we've all learned from Rik is, unfortunately, and I've known this, I kind of had an idea from being in the nutritional industry that a lot of products just aren't what you think you're paying for. And we've learned now from Rik that, yeah, they'll put enough in there to fairy dust it to put it on the label, but not enough to really do anything. So I fully trust our products because it's kind of peace of mind knowing the formulator uses it, so does his wife. They're super picky. The kids are using it. He's only going to make the best. So I know I'm not wasting my money or time. And I love the Plus Mind and Vision. I noticed that like right away. It's like, oh, a little more clarity, a little more, on the spot there with the words. Um, and the mushrooms, I've gone back to them. I went off of them, but I went back to them, and they're just so balancing, immunomodulating. Um, again, peace of mind. I tell people if they're asking about it, go to the website and read the paper on them. You'll never want to be without them if you read the paper on them. But I love all the testimonials. They're so much fun, and we have so many. I think since I've been personally involved, I mean, probably a couple thousand. I don't think that would be an exaggeration. And I am getting back in the saddle with my realawins.com site, or raw for short. And I've got a couple people scheduled in the next few days to meet me in my Zoom room. And I help them make preferably a testimonial video that's like 3 minutes long, 5 at the most, and just building that spreadsheet. It's the same Google spreadsheet that Rich Cotter uses. And we've taken some of the videos that we have on the training site and we've edited them. I say we, not we, my friend Helena, she does it, and drop them in there. But I really like the new ones because I'm getting better at being a director. I say, hold up the product while you're talking about it and just say how you felt before and how you feel now, how much you took when you started, how much you're taking now, and short, sweet, and to the point. So anybody wants to join me in my Zoom room, I'll help you, and we'll load it up, and then you could, share your video on what line it is and send them to realawins.com, and it's a little easier to navigate and not so overwhelming. Just testimonials.
Well, that's great because again, that's another tool that simplifies things. Because one of the things I find is when, like, I have a new gal that's just getting started a couple months, and she's not very computer savvy, so all this is foreign to her. Send a text, all of that. So all these tools, that you're putting together and this team is putting together is so valuable. I just love the Avini app on my phone. I tell you a quick story. I have a horse trainer of mine who actually she rode in the Olympics for another country. And I know her a long time and she's very holistic. So I shared it with her probably in October, and then she disappeared. And she wasn't, it's like she watched it and she told me a sad story that her sister just passed away from something that came on bad cells pretty quick, and she was gone within 2 months. She was gone. So, bingo, it had her attention now. And she didn't want this to happen to her. Then she disappeared on me for a while. So, I laid off a little bit, but I sent her another text. And then I reached out to her and I said, I knew you had to be out of the country. And sure enough, she was. But I sent her the video to watch, and she watched 3 of them today. And it's great because you could see that when they watch them. So I love that tool. I don't know if anybody else is using that tool on your phone. The Avini app phone is wonderful. Anybody want to ask Paige a question or a comment? Feel free. You can unmute, raise your hand, or let's see. Someone is hopping in here. So feel free to ask Paige a question. She's got a lot of resources, a lot of wisdom.
I'm a
So,
big fan of dripping on people. So I like my group email, and I encourage anybody, once you start getting a group, start that group. Even if you only have one person, start a group, because it's a good habit to get in. And I like it when I do one a week roughly, and I do it when I get inspired with something. And I do have people say, oh, I get too many emails. And I'm like, well, you just let me know. If all you have to do is respond with delete and I'll take you out. And no, I like yours. It's like, okay, well, I've learned, keep them short, simple, to the point. That's most important. Make that first line in the subject line interesting, and then the very first sentence in your email interesting, and hopefully they'll open it up.
well, we do have someone on tonight that's very good at sending out emails. His name is Alan Way. And Alan, I just want to recognize you publicly because Alan crafts some beautiful emails and he does a great job. And there's a lot of thought that goes into them. So I just want to let him know how much we appreciate the things that he sends out too, is to the group. And he lets me cut and paste sometimes. So I even love that even more. But Alan,
Oh,
thank you for that.
You're
nice,
welcome. I take pride in doing that, and I enjoy it myself.
Yeah,
nice.
you do a
Yeah.
good job at it also. All right, guys, don't be so shy. Who's got a comment or a question? Feel free to hop in. Eddie, you have a
Joe,
question?
Joe has a question.
Okay, go ahead, Joe, and
Joe,
then Eddie will
you have
follow.
to unmute, Joe. Hold on. Let me prompt you. There you go. There.
Unmute. Paige, got a question for you is, do you have any specific method or process when you are approaching people who have already been networkers? Because I tailor my presentation. If they've been a networker, uh, I, I, I go bang, 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 bang. Because what I find is that one question leads to another, another. And so what I've been using is to send them out all the questions that I would ask that they would ask and answer them preparatory. And then say, uh, if you want to chat more, now you know what you're saying no to or saying yes to. Just comments on that?
Oh, yeah, you're way more organized than me. I don't think that far ahead as far as if they're a network marketer or used to be. Um, Having a conversation with my friend David Peak today, he always told me to, as you said, Joe, ask questions.
Right.
And that is so important. And I have to keep learning that over and over again because, well, I've been diving down this, Rik Deitsch wormhole for a long time, health hole, whatever. I'm sorry. So I want to just ramble everything off. So I have to get better at asking those questions and then pre-qualifying them to see if they are truly interested in turning their health around, getting control of it, and if they're going to be compliant, because that is something that I see a lot that people say they're going to. But then when you check back with them, oh, I forget to take it. And which made me think maybe we need to write up some kind of a checklist of, this is what you need to take. I do send out my welcome letter to everybody that has the suggested protocols in the back, but maybe there needs to be a separate sheet just of how to take it. But I want to get better at asking the questions like you're already doing, Joe. You could probably teach me a great deal to pre-qualify them, to see if they truly are interested in making some changes and if they understand the connection between toxins and our ill health. And the questions, I mean, you're spot on. I don't have anything set. I'm sure your questions I could probably glean a lot from.
Thank
So
you for the compliment.
Hey, Eddie, where'd you go? You're off my screen, but I know you had your hand up.
Can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hey, Paige. I just had a question. I saw you in Dallas when you were on stage, and I remember you really talked a lot about digging into your downline. So my question is, how much time, percentage wise, do you think you spend? I know we're always recruiting new people, from recruiting new people to working with your downline to help them build? You have an idea on a percentage on that?
Well, I can say it's kind of a lot. So this last time when I went Diamond Director, I did the same thing that I did when I went Diamond. I mean, I've done it in between for the last year because I sat at Diamond Apprentice for a year. But I did the same thing, and it took me about 3 weeks. I started maybe about the middle of December, and it is very time consuming, and I can't keep that's not smart with my time. I can't keep doing that. So that's why I started my new group of people who are starting to work the business and wanting to be compensated and get their product for free and such. So they are a new group in my Gmail account. And I'm sharing with them what I've been doing with their people, reaching out and again, just being of service. What can I do for you? I don't want to call up and say, hey, you're going to buy that cell defender again? I see it's been a year. I don't want to
Yeah.
say that.
Right. Right.
But it was very time consuming. And so I realized I need to get smarter with my time, and I need to get people to meet me in the middle here and step up and follow up. The follow up is challenging apparently for a lot of people because I have a lot of people admit that they're not very good at it, and I can always get better at it. And for me, that means having a pattern of what I do. When somebody signs up, I email them my welcome letter. Then I put a hard copy in the mail. It's only 4 pages. And I highlight things on suggested protocols. I highlight a few things, maybe highlight something that they purchased, like a tip of, mixing the plus hydration with room temperature water. I have that in my welcome letter. Anything that I can bring to their attention, make it more personal. And then in my day timer goes, you got to call them on such and such a day, check and make sure they have their product, and call them on the day that they get it, or at least the day after. And then check back with them again in a week. Are they taking it properly? So if I could get everybody in my downline doing that in my baby leg,
Yeah.
I'd be Blue Diamond.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
the
Paige.
truth.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you,
that's what
Ed.
I always say. Many hands make light work, as my mother used to say. And just like every person, if they just did that much, but some will, some won't, and some will, drop off, and then I call it repercolating or rebooting. They come alive again. Something happened, perhaps. But yeah, it's not easy being a leader, right, Paige? It's not easy being at the top.
Ah, we're all leaders. I look around and I see everybody has their thing that they're great at. And
Yes.
then they're working on other things. And none of us do it all perfectly. I mean, Rik doesn't do what we do, and we don't do what Rik does, and we don't do what Neil does, and we all have our niche. We're not Chip, we need Chip. So we all do our niche, and then we use those tools. Like you said, you use the tools when I make my little videos, and I love how we all pull it together like that. And I love doing it because it makes me feel good. It makes my frequency happy when I'm helping somebody. It's just it. Everybody wants to be of service, to be helpful. And when you come from love, when you ask those questions, when you're helping somebody, you can never ask a wrong question. It just leave the ego out of it and just come from love, and you can't do anything wrong.
Well said. Well said. Chip, I see you're unmuted. We'd like you to jump in and add something to this. We'd like to hear from you, Chip.
I'm writing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
writing it.
Good
Okay.
note.
Well, I had maybe a couple of thoughts that I could add, and um, it's interesting to hear everybody say, "Well, I'm disorganized," and yet, to me, I think, okay, well, what Paige is doing sounds real organized to me, but I think we probably all wish that we probably all know that if we could touch a little bit more, we could maybe cause things to happen, but we live on what we do, right? And so Joe asked about the people that are networkers, and I'm looking around at the people on this call, and I think you could probably say that any one of us and somebody from another company would be something of a summit meeting, and I'll call it that.
I'll say, okay, if you're a big leader in another company, we're having a summit meeting. And, I don't know where you are, but if you've ever done this and you loved it and you're not doing it right now, you probably want it back. Maybe you've got the question in your mind, I've loved and lost. Am I willing to love again? And that is a big decision. It's like, you raise how many dogs in your life, and when you lose them, you wonder if you're willing to go through that again. And it's a little bit like that if you've ever networked. But the magic really is in the marriage. It's in the marriage between the opportunity and the product. They both have to be right. And Paige's sponsored, Dave Johnson. I remember, I guess, almost 7 years ago when he was in health trouble.
I didn't
And
sponsor
and he called us. And it worked. He wasn't too long and he went to the doc and they said, we can't find anything. And so I had to say to Dave Johnson, if you could imagine, guess what, Dave? We just saved your life with a network marketing product, and there is no opportunity because there's an argument between the owner and the biochemist. Not the easiest thing to say to Dave, right? But he would send people just to be rescued over the next few years. And then we all started back in, as Paige eloquently described, 3 more loved and losses, right? And then finally, I guess maybe we've always kind of hoped and thought we could do, and that was to have Avini have Rik have his own company. And so now we're 3 years set up like we've always wished we could be. And so the marriage is good now. And we can feel very confident inviting people, that have been taking a beating someplace else and can be comfortable in coming here. And so, Joe, those are some of the thoughts. It's interesting to ask different people those questions. My forte, obviously, I live on the network marketing business. I'm kind of a classic network marketing product guy. And that'll slow you down unless you're married to Marcy. And I always say, I make friends and she makes business out of it. So if you're not a structural and strategic thinker, you don't have to be, but you need access to somebody who does, see the business built before it started, who looks at that comp plan and it just jumps to life in their eyes. They look at it as a game board and they love games. They want to do it, and so that is one of the big attractions of networkers too. If you love the games, maybe you're a person who plays board games or poker, whatever kind of games you play, maybe athletic events, and Avini fits into that for you. It fills that spot for you, or networking does. And so the question is Avini your sport? Is this your brand of sport? And for so many people who love networking, Avini is a great place to be. Great place to be. Okay, Joe's giving me a thumbs up. So if you tie that together with what Paige offered to you, Joe, I hope you feel like you're well armed. I like that summit meeting thing. Okay, so if you're a great networker from the past, you and I are having a summit meeting right now. At the very least, we can kind of look at what's going on in the industry. What have you done? What have I done? What are the frustrations? What are the wins? What is it you loved about it? Do you want it back? And most of us do want it back, right? We want it back. If you've ever done this and really, really found the joy in it, you want it back. And that's the little piece that I draw on, Joe, to ask them to look more closely. You know how this goes. Take a look at it from the inside out. You can't really see it from the outside. Join. See how we treat you. See what it's like. Take a look at it from the inside out. Get the big package of products. Find out what we've got. Every one of our products is in an area where we lead the world.
Oof. Powerful.
Well said, Chip. Well said.
I get a lot of practice.
Chip, I kind of feel like what you're saying is how we need to redirect what you're sharing with all the young people, because they don't know about network marketing. And what they ever learned about network marketing are from the parents who got turned off by it. But if they love networking, and you just made me realize of some people that are in the financial, with the different financial companies. Well, they love to network. And this is not in the financial part of it, but it's getting into one of the aspects of the 8 aspects of whole wellness, that you're doing it with your health and wellness, which leads into your wealth. And I just think that what you just presented and shared with us are the questions that we need to ask them as the new emerging leaders of the new network marketers that are not in a hierarchy, but in a heterarchy.
So if someone had done, legal stuff or financial stuff or travel stuff, and they said, it's hard for me to kind of imagine doing the natural product thing. And so I would say what I'm hearing is that you like the travel part of it. You like the financial part. Me too. This is how I've gotten to see the world. This is how I can afford to do the things that I do. And it's here, the financial side, the travel side, all that stuff is here. It's just that our avenue, our motor, the fuel is this genius biochemist and being able to help humans find a different way to deal with their health crisis and their high performance. I love the high performance aspect of it. I see Ed bobbing his head. Yes, professional athlete.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're sick, your first event is getting well.
I love it.
I'm going to treat you like an athlete. If you're sick, your first event is getting well.
Yeah.
And another little point in a conversation. Here's how you can tell the difference. If somebody offers you a remedy, tell them, if you do it, I'll do it. Well, your doc's going to back clear out of the office at that point, but we will be able to say, yes, I do. And even after you're well, then I thought, okay, what's better than fine? Which way is up? Well, it's the way I've been going. And so we use it and I will tell them, if you were going to be in the Olympics next summer, we do the exact same thing we're doing with you now. I like those points. That's important to people. Easier for your kidneys, not more difficult. Those kind of things. That's one of the concerns. Is this going to make me weird and make me, poop like a goose? Something like that. That's the suspicion. And so might make you fly like one.
Carol, you have a comment.
Yeah.
The devil might have maybe do that. I'm sorry about that one.
Yeah, I want to share something with everyone. I've shared with quite a few people. I've started a podcast and it's called The Toxic Truth. And we talk about heavy metals and toxins. And I invite people that are in the health and wellness industry to come on and talk about heavy metals and toxins. And we had a doctor on last week in our episode. And guys, she has 3 people in her family that have cancer. 3 people in her family that have cancer. And one of them has brain cancer. And so we were talking and she was sharing what she knows about heavy metals and toxins. And Dr. Kara Cruz she's very knowledgeable, studies it a lot. And we were just having a conversation at the end she said, oh, what can I do? And I just said, look, I said, we have something that we have found that a lot of people don't know about. And we talked about Cell Defender. And she, at the end, she was like, wow, I've got to get this to my family. I've got to get this to my family. And then I called her back and her cousin who had the brain cancer passed away. And she said to me, she said, Carol, I wish I had met you sooner, that we could have helped her. She said, so I want to help my other 2 family. So I just want you to get, guys, we are here to educate people. There are so many people out there that don't know about this discovery. They don't know about it. it. And if they did know about it, they would choose it. So we just got to educate people. We got to get the word out there. And that's what I'm up to.
Well, with that said, I'd like to challenge each of you on here tonight. Bring somebody next week. Okay. I see we have quite a few people on this call. So I'm going to challenge you to really invite to this call. Let's see if we can double the number. Let's double the number and get somebody here next week to Avini Vibes or to some of the other magnificent calls. But I am going to challenge each and every one of you. Remember, we're all supposed to be exercising 3 to 4 times a week. If you were in the earlier group, I hope you're doing that. But here's another challenge. Bring a friend or two, somebody, as Carol said, that needs this and is praying for this and is looking for this for next week. And next week, the topic is going to be liver. The liver. We're going to talk about the liver next week. We'll have Dr. Nikita back. We'll have Chip, and we have some amazing stories about the liver. So I'm going to ask you to really find that person that's supposed to be with us next week. Any other comments, concerns before we let Paige jump back in and close us out with some parting wisdom and words? Anyone else? All right, Paige, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Christine. Well, thinking about what Chip said about the professional network marketers, I certainly wouldn't have considered myself that before Avini. I guess I have to wear that hat now. What I hear from people that are quote unquote professional network marketers, they all say the same thing. They say, I've never had such an easy time. This comp plan is amazing. So if they're loving it and they know more than I do about it, and they're proving it too because they're doing very well. It's like, okay, we definitely have our hands on something wonderful. And I am always, always grateful. And Carol, what you were saying, we need to share this. People just don't know about it. It's so true. The word has gotten out about zeolite. So my first piece of education is we have the original. As Dave Johnson said, we have the one with the longest track record. We have the one that everybody else is trying to copy and they don't know what they're doing. Would you want a knockoff, or would you like the original that's been around for over 20 years, proven?
Yeah.
So I don't want to waste my money and time. How about you? Let's just get those toxins out. So I want to thank you so much for letting me be here, Christine. And if anybody wants to put their testimonial on realawins.com, just reach out to me. We'll set a time to do a Zoom meeting. It's a lot of fun. I put my director's hat on and let you have at it. The floor is yours. And I'll keep making those short videos, shorter and shorter, and love doing the tutorials. So and the page will remain the same. My YouTube channel will remain the same. I'll just tweak it and add better videos and more of them. So thank you, Christine. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Paige. We appreciate
So
you.
special. We're grateful for you. And listen, everyone, we will look forward to seeing you next week with your guest. And go and find somebody that wants to hear about this and bring them next week. And we'll just grow this little family that we have that's growing each week. Chip, thank you for being here as always. Carol, thank you for always doing the tech support here. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Okay, we'll see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Bye.